get done, but apparently that's not the case anymore. Working on the Legacy Open here, so we'll see if he's able to do that. Names are backwards. We'll see if he's able to do that or not.
So it looks like we have a little bit of Death and Taxes against Blue-White Red Miracles.
Well, Chris Marshall with the old Death and Taxes deck. We'll get those names corrected on the top of the screen really quickly here for you guys. But this is him playing Blue-White Red Miracles. You got Robert Sullivan playing Death and Taxes. Both these players sitting at 6-1-1. So this could actually be, depending on how breakers go, this could be a win in a match too.
This is live, yeah.
Yeah. Marshall starting off with a Sensei's Divine top pass, then turn back over to Sullivan. You see Mother of Runes and a Plains in play here. We'll get to the sideboards in just a moment. You see another Plains going to join the party here. Both of these players have won a game already. This is going to be a Spirit of the Labyrinth.
And backed up by Mother of Runes, that could be an annoying card here for Blue-White Red Miracles. Although, of course, the big problem in this matchup is Death and Taxes does not have a great way of fighting the card Terminus.
Seems tough.
Just kind of happens.
Yeah, seems like it's relatively tough here. Marshall going to draw his card. Probably going to see him sacrifice these fetch lands, and we will, so he's going to go down to 18. It's probably time to play a counterbalance. Did catch one in his hand. He can search for one basic island with the Scalding Tarn if he'd like. The other one will probably have to find a Tundra, but we'll see if that's what he's actually up to.
Seems like a good time to get this established.
There's Tundra number 1. Maybe it's time for non-basic number 2, and it is.
Tax paperwork with StarCityGames.com.
Yeah, once he's already going to get hit by Wasteland, he might as well fix his mana as much as possible. He's not playing around Wasteland once he has to get one of the dual lands.
So 1 and 2, this is a counterbalance. So some things have already slid underneath, obviously. The Spirit of the Labyrinth and the Mother of Runes. Mother of Runes protecting that Spirit of the Labyrinth and future creatures from ever really doing anything. In comes the Spirit for 3. Marshall's going to go down to 15. See if Sullivan wants to fire up one of these Wastelands here.
And Sullivan did a very nice job of sandbagging that Wasteland last turn. Sort of trapped Chris a little bit into searching for 2 Tundras, and now he's going to be able to do something with that Wasteland.
And he will fire that off to take care of the Tundra and pass the turn back. You're going to see a spinning at the top here. Terminus, an Island, and a Brainstorm of the cards that Marshall looks to be looking at. I'd imagine he wants to leave Terminus on top to take care of these 2 creatures. So he does leave that on top. There's a top card. This is a Terminus.
He may have been able to wait a little bit longer on that.
Maybe able to catch some more stuff. I would agree. He's going to use the Tundra to cast it.
This is not a bad spot to Terminus, especially if the Spirit of the Labyrinth is a problem card for what the rest of his hand looks like.
Marshall's already drawn his card for the turn. He does not have a land to play, so he just passes the turn back. Over to Sullivan. We'll see if he has anything to do on this turn, as he did not have much to do on the last one. Just fired off a Wasteland and moved it back.
And who knows how much of his hand is locked out here by this counterbalanced Divining Top. We see 1 Mother of Runes in his hand.
And there's another Wasteland. This is mighty interesting now. Do you fire that off or do you try to cast a spell? It looks like the answer is try to cast a spell, and it's a Flicker Wisp. However, Marshall at the ready, not going to reveal to counterbalance. Flicker Wisp trigger is going to target Wasteland. This will come back at the end step. So now it does come back at the end step. There's a Swords of Plowshares to take care of the Flicker Wisp. We'll see if he wants to fire off the Wasteland or not.
I had to assume so. Can't let Chris develop his mana in this spot.
It looks like Chris is ready to lose the land, but the answer is no, he will not. Looks like in the draw, take care of that. He says, I'm going to use the mana that's been the top. So there's a Brainstorm, there's another Terminus, and there's another Tundra.
And the lock is kind of slowly getting applied here. Chris is light on mana.
It's not the most impressive lock, but we're almost there. Sullivan going to take a draw here. That's not bad.
Correction Revoker, if it resolves, can do some work here.
Yeah. I've seen worse cards. Another Wasteland. Kind of funny to see Miracles get Wastelanded twice.
That's pretty rare.
That's not really a thing that happens. It's part of the appeal of playing the deck, honestly. Now, what really gets difficult is how you're supposed to, lay out your threats here. Now, there's Mother of Runes. Trigger the counterbalance. There's a Brainstorm, so Marshall knew that was there, so that's taken care of.
And that's one of the most heartbreaking things when you play a 1 hoping to get the Divining Top on top of their deck so you're sure your follow-up play is resolving, and then they just reveal the 1 on top.
No. They don't have to spend anything. They just, well, I knew that's there. 3 cards now. You see a Revoker placed onto the stack. Marshall's going to spin. Presumably that Revoker's going to name top.
Yeah.
That would be my assumption. The question here is, does Marshall want to put a land on top, or does he want to put a terminus on top?
I think he wants to draw the land next turn.
So Evoker is going to work. Sensei's Divine Top is going to be the name.
Again, this is another opportunity where he can wait one more turn. Sullivan, in theory, plays another creature, and then you get to sweep up more stuff.
Pithing Needle placed on the stack there for Marshall. We'll get confirmation on what that's naming. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Wasteland, but we will see. As Sullivan will take a draw, and it is going to be Wasteland that the Needle does name. Step one for Sullivan is to attack Marshall down to 13. This is a Rising Canopy. I believe Sullivan has a Batter Skull in his hand that he's a mana away from, and then a mystery card. He's just going to pass the turn back with the ability to crack Canopy if he'd like a little later on down the road. Terminus is going to take care of the Phyrexian Revoker. Might not seem like the best one-for-one trade, but that turns the top back on.
And that's all that Marshall really cares about at this point.
So Marshall just going to pass the turn back. Sullivan draws his card for the turn. Going to play a Plains, and looks like 5 mana. Going to take one from the Canopy. That is a Batter Skull. Going to spin the top. Any 5s to be had?
In Marshall's list,
Kind
does
of-
not. A Force of Will.
Yeah, Force of Will is normally the normal one. Didn't find one there. Did find a 3rd Terminus, though, along with the Swords of Plowshares. So that Batter Skull, if it does resolve, the Germ Token's not a big deal.
And this is problematic. I think that Chris had the intent here with a Vendilion Click in his hand of clicking Sullivan, taking the last piece of action, and then winning the game with Vendilion Click plus his lock. But now he now has to find an answer for Batter Skull.
Yeah, a little bit of work necessary. Sullivan will take a draw here. Again, if you're Marshall, you have to like the situation that you're in thus far. And there's a Sword to take care of that. So Sullivan will gain 4 life. He'll go up to 26.
Buys Marshall some time, but it's not a long-term answer.
There is a Plains. You have to imagine with sorting the token, and then the ability to Vendilion Click it when Sullivan redraws, when he brings it back. He's doing pretty okay against Batter Skull at this point. Marshall going to take a draw. It's a Flooded Strand. That allowed him to reset the top if he'd like, along with the top of his library for the counterbalance. And it looks like we may see the Batter Skull get returned here. And that's what will occur. And now here's a Vendilion Click very quickly. I'm not in love with the timing.
Yeah, I would wait for him to at least move into his upkeep
Mystery card coming there.
or draw step.
Yeah, I like the
Mostly
draw step so you're working with full information, because we could also see this, right? The Canopy, and then he draws a card. So he would have a ton of cards in his hand, and you can maybe make a more well-informed decision on which they take with the click. Like, chances are you're going to take the Batter Skull, but you know, you can wait.
If the other card in his hand, for example, is Stoneforge Mystic, then maybe you say, I don't take anything.
Yeah, keep them.
Yeah.
So you see there's a Sword of Fire and Ice over there. Looks like 2 mana is going to be tapped to cast a spell right now. See what this is going to be. That is a Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. We'll see if Chris has a response. The answer is yes. Sacrificing a Flooded Strand, going down to 12, looking for a 2 on top of his deck to counter this. Volcanic Island is a land he will search up. Again, no fear of that Wasteland due to the Pithing Needle being in play.
Not a lot of 2s in Chris's deck either. A couple counter spells, a couple copies, additional copies of Counterbalance. It looks like he's found one in a...
Is that I don't know if that's a Stoneforge Mystic or not that I saw. Yeah, there's a couple Stoneforges in his board, so he's going to turn that over to take care of Thalia. That's a pretty nice sideboard plan.
Stoneforge is a cool sideboard plan because almost everyone's cutting their creature removal against you. If I was playing against this deck with Burn, for example, I would just lose to Stoneforge on turn 2.
There's Mangara. Maybe this is the one that we were trying to resolve all along. Marshall going to untap. He'll take a draw. Going to draw that Stoneforge Mystic. This will again allow him to shuffle his deck. Looks like we're going to start with Vendilion Click. Sullivan going to go down to 23. See the life total, 23 to 12 between these two players. Now there is Stoneforge Mystic, so see what he wants to search out. You've seen the sideboard here. There's a Batter Skull and there's a Sword of Feast and Famine.
This also gives him the opportunity for a fresh shuffle too. So if he's worried about this Mangara, he can spin now with top, and if he finds Swords of Plowshare, for example, just kill Mangara straight away.
I do believe it is worth the look, at least.
Nothing else going on with your mana, so.
There's your spin. So hit 1 Explosives, 2 Flooded Strand, 3 Ponder. These cards are fine. Not all that exciting, but they're fine.
Not an immediate answer to the Mangara, but it does allow him to float a 1 on top without having to use his Divining Top.
That's what he's going to do. He'll pass the turn back over to Sullivan. Sullivan will untap those 5 lands, and he does have a Mangara.
There's exactly 1 copy in his list in the main deck.
The old cute Mangara Caracas combo.
Bringing it back.
I haven't seen that for a long time. There's a Sword of Fire and Ice.
And Marshall is at 12. I mean, he's not that far away from getting killed here. The Battered Skull, of course, complicates things, but should Robert be able to answer that, this can be lethal pretty quickly.
Oh, looks like we're going beatdown style.
Not the ideal equipment target in Robert's deck, but again, you make do with what you have.
Time to jump block. I think part of the reason for this is because Chris knows he has a land coming. Gonna spin top again. Also, he does know about engineer explosives. EE on 3 is actually really interesting here. EE on 3 would take care of the sword and the Mangara. He would also kill his own Vendilion Click. Might be okay with that exchange, though.
I think he's going to try to finagle a different way if he can help it. I mean, just putting a German to play in this spot's really good.
Yeah. There's an attack for 3. Sullivan's going to get on to 20. Interested to see if Marshall is going to draw a card with top right now. Okay. And he's also, looks like he's going to lose his top altogether.
Yeah, it looks like his plan here is to just E for 3 and hope the Battered Skull is good enough to win.
Yeah, certainly an aggressive line.
Yeah.
See what land he wants to search out. Going to go with a basic island.
Benching players, another reminder.
I mean, there's a good chance that Battered Skull is better than Sullivan's hand.
In order to claim your prize, you will have to.
I can't really argue.
Tax paperwork.
There you see the 3, blue, white, and a red.
If you have not
Now blow this up, kill the 3s. She counterbalancing a needle out there for Marshall. Nothing out there for Sullivan just yet, but I imagine he'll be playing something this turn. Some very mana cost in this hand. He's got a Mother Runes, a Thalia, and I believe another Mangara. Maybe actually a Mirren Crusader. I take that back.
A good spread there, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Something's resolving.
Crusader's probably the best of the bunch. Step 1, Thalia, trigger. Everything's resolving.
That's great news for Sullivan.
Yeah. Arid Mace of the card revealed from Marshall. Yeah, I think you got to go with the Crusader. Crusader's so good in this spot.
Yeah.
So good against Battered Skull. Marshall will draw a card. There's Arid Mesa. Sacrifices immediately. Not wasting any time.
Well, he has to cast his Battered Skull. He's gone down this line. He needs to pay an extra mana, of course, because Thalia is now in play.
Yep. So he'll get a Volcanic Island, a card he doesn't mind getting wastelanded, as I can't imagine he has red cards in his deck after sideboard. And he's kind of playing the Joe Lissette version of Miracles here. Now there is Battered Skull. I have to pay 1 more, as you mentioned, because of Thalia. So Germ Token in, pass the turn back, over to Sullivan, who will take a draw. Again, the last card over there is Mother of Runes. Now Stoneforge Mystic. This is getting difficult.
And Stoneforge Mystic, if this resolves, can get a significant piece of equipment, and Mirren Crusader can kill very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if Mother Runes resolves, then things, again, get even more complicated as Sullivan can start sending in the Mirren Crusader and block the Battered Skull token on the way back.
Yeah, just by giving something protection from black. Well, it looks like this is going to resolve.
So this Batter Skull in concert with this Mirror Crusader this is a one-shot combo.
Yeah, it is. All right. Takes a couple turns to set up, but
Yes. But the setup is, I mean, it's here.
take a draw. Okay.
Oh, man. Sullivan had a great shop setup here, but, I mean, he still has the Batter Skull, but Sullivan just needed to avoid a couple more draw steps of Terminus there, and he would have been able to win this game.
Takes a draw. It's a copy of Rashad and Port. I still think you deploy both the threats.
At this point.
I think you lead with Battered Skull because, again, it's a 5, and you can know for sure if your mother's going to resolve that way because it's very unlikely that there's a 5-mana spell over there. But I mean, if you're scared of seeing a Force of Will, I guess you can lead this way.
But if there's a Force of Will, what's the long-term plan?
Yeah.
You're never resolving the Batter Skull, or probably not resolving the Batter Skull this game.
This is true. So now there's a Battered Skull on that side of the table. And you return this.
So Sullivan did a very good job by holding Mother Runes back as the one threat, because now he has total control over the Batter Skull race.
Yeah, that he does. He can attack with his Battered Skull, and his Battered Skull is always going to win.
He can also equip Batter Skull onto Mother of Runes, and good luck beating that.
Making it a 2-turn clock. But also, yeah, good luck beating that.
It protects itself.
On offense and defense, yeah. That's got to be pretty appealing, actually. Make that play.
Because Marshall doesn't have enough mana to reset this turn. If he draws a land, then that's different. But even then, Sullivan can start porting.
There's a block. There's protection from the mom. So Sullivan's going to gain some life there. Now there's another port. So 2 ports and a wasteland. You can actually start going after this mana.
Well, the wasteland's still pinned because of the needle.
Yeah. I wonder what mana he goes after. Probably white.
I don't think it matters too. Yeah, I guess you can cut him off of white mana.
You can cut him off of white and then make it so the Flooded Strand has to tap those. Yeah, so he can chop those away. Because going after red doesn't do anything. I can't imagine there's a red card here for Marshall that's going to have any effect on the game. There's just another Flooded Strand. Pass the turn back. And so yeah, this turn I think I actually like equipping the Batter Skull to Mother Runes, getting in for 5.
Yeah.
And then assuming that Marshall's next turn is just, all right, pick up my Batter Skull, replay it, then you can just give your Mother Runes protection from black and kill him.
Yeah. And Marshall's going to be working with basically no mana in his main phase in this world too, because you're porting a few times, then he needs to pay a bunch of mana to put the Batter Skull into play.
Looks like a spell's going to be cast here. Maybe a Flicker Wisp? Yeah. Trigger, counterbalance, Jace. Oddly enough, as good as that card is, it doesn't really matter.
And Chris cannot cast both Batter Skull and Jace next turn too.
And Robert's trying to figure out what to target. He just says, all right, I'm going to go with my planes, pass the turn back. Do you want to tap anything? Yep, tap your whites again. Marshall going to draw. It's a Jace. And if you're wondering if Mother Runes is one of the best 1-drops of all time, this is kind of proof that it is.
Yeah. Any game that's about attacking or blocking in any way, it's the thing to be doing.
You see a Brainstorm here. Scalding Tarn, Vendilion Click, and a copy of Brainstorm.
So Marshall still has the out of, on Sullivan's turn, Brainstorming
Into Terminus.
into Terminus.
Marshall going to sacrifice land right now. Probably looking for some blue source. There that is.
It's really hard to kill the Miracles player, even when you think that you have them beat on every angle.
Yeah, somehow they can always find a way out of the situation. He's brainstorming right now, which is a little surprising.
I'm not sure what out this leaves him now.
Yeah, I don't think this leaves him without at all. Now, I don't know. I don't believe he's drawn all his Terminus this game. He's cast many of them as he does extend the hand. So Robert Sullivan's going to win this match over Chris Marshall 2-1. And with any luck, he'll be making it into the top 8. But it looks like he may have been playing for 9th there. But assuming he didn't cast all of his copies of Terminus, as you see those guys having fun on the camera, he may have cut himself up and out there. Now, did he find Terminus there? No, but
Gotta at least try.
yeah, gotta definitely at least try.